Welcome to the launch of a Research Ethics Application Management System here. My name is Sean Lacey. I'm the Research Integrity and Compliance Officer for the University, but I'll hand over to Professor Hugh McGlynn, our Vice President for Research and Innovation, to do a formal welcome. Over to you, Hugh.
Thank you very much, Sean. We introduced twice in the one go. That's so welcome, everyone. Lovely to see people here and online. So great for taking time out on this horrible day. So thanks for coming along. So it's a great pleasure to be here. It's a great pleasure to meet Niall in the flesh and Irene, the team working behind all the technical aspects of it, Sean and Sinead and the team for bringing things together. Really, REAMS is a wonderful new development for the university. I mean, we obviously pride ourselves on our dignity, integrity, and respect at work. We do things correct, we do the right things, and we do things right. So this is one good example of doing things right and doing it the right way. Keen to ensure that we remove any barriers and obstacles for people engaging in research. Wanting to minimise the bureaucracy, the paperwork. This is a wonderful example. The strategic intent is to an end-to-end kind of workflow. So today, hopefully, we'll showcase, cross fingers, hopefully, the phase one of this project, which would be the minimal human ethics review piece under REAMS. I suppose the next phase is taking that then to the full ethical, then onto the animal, and then embedding that within our system. So Elizabeth and the team in the background are working on that. So that will be the full end-to-end. That will give us that flexibility, transparency, and efficiency of process. But along the way, there's learnings. There's learnings in everything. Research is like that. If you've got the answer, then you're asking the wrong question. So we'll ask lots of questions. We'll get lots of, hopefully, things will come out and improve the system. So just to welcome everybody, thanks for your involvement in here. It's a testament that research and innovation is critical to the university, that you guys are doing the cutting edge and front research. And most importantly, that this research is ethical, it's impactful, that we look after our researchers, our participants, and if we're involving animals, all the people involved in research. So thank you again. I'm going to hand back to Sean.
Perfect. Thanks, Hugh. I know a wording that's often used as a journey. We're in a journey, but this ultimately really was actually a journey. It started off in December 23. I had a call with the head of research ethics and integrity in TU Dublin, Dr. Steve Meany, and he showcased what they were doing in TU Dublin in terms of using Microsoft applications to develop a bespoke REAMS. And I was thinking, right, that there's real potential. Actually, Elizabeth was on that call as well at the time, and then I was thinking there's real potential with this. But so then reached out to Irene Fenton, our head of IT applications, in April of 24, with this kind of blue sky thinking, look, is this possible, this overall idea? But yet really had no concept of how we were going to pull this all together. And then Irene said, look, I have a guy that would be perfect for this job. And she introduced me to Niall Harpur, who's going to come up here and demo the REAMS. But we started working with Niall that summer of 24, and now we're here in March 26. So it just shows the work that was happening behind the scenes. And we're delighted to be here. It is a milestone. And as Hugh mentioned there, this is the first phase of multiple phases in terms of what we're trying to do here for research ethics and improving the research ethic ecosystem in the university. But really, it's for Niall now to be demoing the REAMS, and over to you, Niall. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, everyone, for coming. I'm going to take you through a full application today as quickly as I can. I'm going to show you the technologies that are involved and how complicated they were. I'll be throwing in some information about them as we go through it. So I shall begin by giving you a quick overview of the application process. This is a very, very high level, and this is the process that we try to build into the system. So you can see from the top left, we start with the form, which is a Microsoft form. It goes through, depending on the applicant type. If you are a student, you'll go through a supervisor head of function application approval. And if you are a staff member, then you'll skip through the supervisor and go straight to head of function for approval. Once that's approved within the Microsoft approvals as well. So this is managed through Teams and Power Automate. You can access it by both, but Teams is probably the easiest way, and you'll get notifications about approvals in that. And I'll show you those approvals and how they work. Then it goes into the app once it's passed those. So into the app, and the administrator, Sinead, here will review it and assign a HREC ID to it. Then she'll begin her screening process. Once it's passed a screening, so screening again might go back to the applicant for updates. We have two separate forms. One, a new application, which you'll fill in for the initial one and any return that comes from the supervisor or the head of function approval. Then it moves on to an update form. So you just update from that point on. If anything comes back that we need an update, or you want to update your research, something new has happened and you want to update your research, you can do that automatically through the update form. So you're not filling out a full application again. That was something that we were really keen on removing for people, that they didn't have to fill out the whole application every time that they wanted to make an update or an update was requested. So that has been developed to go into the system. Once the screening is done, then it comes on to, it's assigned to 2 reviewers. At this point, there's a notification goes to the applicant again to tell them that you've started into the review, and it should be done within a time frame. You get an email about that. And once it's passed the review, it goes to the chairperson for their review. The chairperson reviews, and then one of 3 possible outcomes. You have an approved, you'll have a provisionally approved, or a resubmit. In the provisionally approved or the resubmit, that will go back to the applicant. They will make the changes that are suggested in the letter that you'll receive via email from the chairperson review, and you'll submit your application or any changes, again, using the update form. Again, you don't have to do a full new application, update form, make your changes, and that'll go through your approval path each time. So it goes, again, if you're a student, through your supervisor, then to the head of function, and in through. And that will happen again until you get your approved. And at the end, the approved document is created automatically by the system and sent out via email to the applicant. So let me demo some of this to you. All these forms can be accessed on the Human Research Ethics. They are now live. Here we go. So you have the application form here for applications to come in. And just move into the form. Here we go. I'm not going to make it sit through me filling out a very long form. I have this pre-filled, thankfully, just to show you the different fields. I'm not going to go into all of the fields. A lot of the fields are mandatory for the first one. So any of those have been filled in. But there is a lot of branching in it as well. So when you maybe open the form and you go through it, you might see a lot of questions, but that branching will reduce the number of questions or increase the number of questions that you see, depending on how you're progressing through it. I will move on through here very quickly to get to some of those ones that will show you the branching very clearly. And this is all mapped back to the original process. There's no extra questions. Some of the questions have been pulled out just to make the answers more coherent for the people reviewing. So it's not all bulked together in a big answer anymore. You have separate fields for a lot of them so that the reviewers and the chair people can easily see quite quickly without any back and forth. Oh, what do you mean here or what do you mean there? That's all kind of, we've tried to tease that out a little bit. So this is one of the sections where a lot of branching is involved. So if I click no, you'll see that the standard educational practice and test disappears. There's no questions on that. Whereas if you click yes, there are a few questions on that to answer. And that does the same for interviews. If I go yes on interviews, you'll see that those questions pop up. I'm just going to skip all of those. Move down again, order your recordings. If it's a yes, you'll be asked questions on that. If it's a no, no questions. And that will go the whole way through the form. An important one to call out, this study does not involve. We were discussing the wording of this one a lot. So just make sure that you read the questions. Reading the questions like anything. Reading the questions is really important. Any ethical concerns, move on next. Data collection. Pass through that. And that's in the declaration. So this is a new change as well. All of your documents will be submitted through the form. So you have all of your required documents here that you can find all the templates on the website again under resources, and that you will need to complete before submitting your application. I've just uploaded one here for a sample, and then you simply hit submit. And I'm quickly going to change into the automations. So here is what's going to happen in the background. instantaneously with forms. It starts 13 seconds ago and it's running. I don't get any errors here. This one here, so you can see all of the steps that are completed have a little green tick. So it goes through, populates a document, a template, and that sends out to our first approval. So our first approver here, I've listed as Sinead. Sinead is going to approve this for me. And then the second stage will be me approving it as a supervisor. I'm playing 5 roles today. So if you hear me cursing at myself, it's only because I've done a terrible job on the last step. And you can see as now, I can see Sinead has actually approved it there now. I can look at the responses as well, who did it, all the rest of that. And this is creating an audit trail of all the automation that happens as well. So it's not that it's gone into the ether. It does keep an audit trail. SharePoint keeps an audit trail of every change that's made to an application as well. So it's all very auditable, which is really, really good for the college as well, and the integrity of the application process. You can see again that it's created a new population, a new document in the system, and they sent that to me. So in Teams, if I move to Teams, I have Niall Harpur sent you a request for minimal human research ethics approval. Please find attached minimal risk human ethics research application, and it provides a PDF document to you. So that PDF document, download it and open it. So as a supervisor, this is what I'll be doing. I'll see the approval come into Teams. I'll get a notification. That document, then I can read the PDF version of that. So there is the application in PDF format. I review that, close it up, back into Teams, and I can approve. Now, if I was to reject at this stage, I can do a reject. I can put comments. I think it's, good manners to give a comment if you're rejecting something, or run down and tell them why you're rejecting at least. So the comments will be returned to the users in an email as well. So you'll get an email about the rejection, and then the comments will be involved inserted into that, and there'll be a PDF. That PDF version will be sent to you as well. So you don't have to retype everything in. You have a copy and paste option that you can fill in your original form at this stage again. Remember, this is at the supervisor and the head of function stage, so a new form does need to be filled in, but you'll have a PDF of all your answers from the original one, so any changes that you need to make, nice and quick. I'm going to approve this here. Actually, before I do, I'll show you it in Power Automate as well. So a lot of people probably don't know that they have Power Automate, access to Power Automate. It's in your 9 dots up in the top left-hand corner. And when you go into it, there, you'll see approvals. And if I do a refresh on this, okay, you'll see that approval is in there waiting for me as well. There's sent and history as well. So you can see all of the approvals that you've done through Power Automate, more in depth within Power Automate.
Question.
Go for it.
For the approver, so as a supervisor, can they make changes to the document without sending it back to the original?
No. It needs to go back to the applicant with their feedback. If you're not a student, you'll be just sending it to your head of function as well. So we'll go through that path. So I can approve it in here, or I can approve it in Teams. I'll just show you in Teams because this is how most people will be approving it. And once I approve it, I will strip back into here, and we can see this complete. There it is. Moving through the process now, right? Setting a lot of variables, making sure that it's doing the right thing. And this is the shorter of the automations. So it turns out creating a list item is much easier than updating it. The update, which I'll show you in a little bit, during development, I hit a limit that I didn't know existed within the automation processes of 500 actions. So we had to rethink how we were going to handle that, and we managed to do that in the end. So every problem has a solution. So you can see it's still making its way through, creating all of the necessary checkpoints, documents, all of that. And then it's going to send an email to the applicant, which is myself in this case. So it's successfully sent an email. So I should get an email into my emails now saying that your application has made it through into the REAMS system. Still waiting on it. Right, it'll come. There we go.
Just have a question on Zoom. Is that all right? So someone just said, is progress saved in the original form if it's not finished in one go? So filling out the.
Yeah, it needs to be filled. I think it needs to be filled out in one go. We can have a look at saving. Yeah.
I have a question about it too. Is there any collaboration, like if you have a research team where someone else can add to it, or is it only one person because it's through your team?
One person is doing the application.
Okay.
Now there are 4 applicants, up to 4 applicants on the application.
Okay.
So you can list 4 applicants within that.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, if you're on a team, if your immediate head of function is on your team, and that means that their head of their, whoever they're reporting to needs to sign, will it automatically send it to that person?
You list the head of function in the application. So there's actually an email for head of function email who's going to take that role. So if the head of function, I presume that will go to someone else in the chain.
Yeah,
If you're
so
head
will
of
it
function.
automatically do that?
It will, because you're putting in who your head of function in that situation. So I suppose within
My head of function, immediate head
is
of
in the
function
team. Yeah. So who's that head of function? Who?
So the way that works is like, I mean, if your direct head of function is part of the research team, then it's the next head of function is the one that you put down as the head of function in the application.
Oh, and that'll be explained.
And that's the same. That's the same as the version that we're using at the moment with the paper-based.
Yeah.
I presume if there's 4 people involved, everybody gets copied on everything then, do they? If there's a response back, is it only the lead person or?
The main applicant, but we can increase that. That's good feedback. Absolutely. No, and we've done sessions and we've taken feedback on these, and you'll see actually some of the things actually in the document, the original form submission. I forgot to show you. Someone had suggested that they can check a little box to say that they've already submitted their certificates. So we've actually included that in from one of the sessions that we did, because it was a really good idea. And the beauty of REAMS being in-house is these kind of suggestions can be done instantaneously, not waiting for the next development cycle. It's not going to cost you $5,000 to put in a field. You know, all of this is done, and the development, you know, I suppose my typical turnaround would be 10 minutes. So from the ask within an app. So, you know, it's all in-house now, and that is really part of the beauty, and taking feedback, good ideas on how to do it. I don't think we've included it at the moment, but it's easily done because we have.
I think it's right or wrong, or just.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a great idea. You know, why don't we? So here is that your submission has been received, and you have your artifact here of your PDF of your application that you will see. This also has a signature in the bottom of who signed it and when. So the supervisors and the date and time of the approval. The names are generally quite obvious as well with dates, just because I know people have a lot of versions of applications. So we've included that in the name of the files in a lot of cases as well. So you get a date on the file that was created. And that is your application, your initial application goes through. Next, I'd like to show you the actual REAMS application. So this is REAMS. It's a Power app that we've developed. It's across the whole Power platform. So it's back-ended with SharePoint, secured, permissioned, down to who has access, who doesn't have access to this. And you can see here that we have already been some examples some testing ones that we've been working on just to make sure that everything is going well. You have a search and filter here. You know, once this starts getting a good few applications in, you'll be able to use that to quickly find items within it. So there are 3 user levels, or 2 user levels, but 3 basic types of user, I suppose, within this system. You have your average person, or your average reviewer, chairperson, which is a user. You'll see that mine is an admin at the moment, and we have an admin. So those are the user types. You have a reviewer, 2 reviewers, you have a chairperson, and you have an administrator within this. So that complicates the system a lot. Let me tell you, making sure that people see what they're meant to see, what they have access, it makes sense to them as they move through it. So it's designed for the user to make it as easy as possible to see everything that they need to see and do everything that they need to do. So you might see, because I'm an admin on this screen, you might see things that you wouldn't see as a reviewer or a chairperson. That's just a call out on that. If I do a refresh here, up at the top right.
Just to add then, so the applicant, if you're an applicant, you don't see this.
Yeah.
This is what people behind the scene, whether it's Sinead as the administrator or the HREC members or chairpersons.
We might in the future try to bring in the user into this. Now that we've successfully got 3 user types into it, we'd be looking possibly in the future to add the user to it, which would make the updating even easier going forward.
Will a person be able to see their previous applications?
Will a person be able to see their
If
previous?
I've had one done last year.
If you were a viewer, you mean from a reviewer perspective, or?
From my own point, like, so.
No, this system isn't to give users a sight of their application. This is to manage the application process. So you'll get your PDFs, that'll be for your own records. You won't have any access to this system for the time being anyway. Yeah. So you can see that the application has come in here. I'm going to select it. I have a little bit of a coding system, so the outcome here is complete. If it's green, it's fully approved. Orange is not so successful. And red is horrendous. So
We don't use those words.
Yeah, we don't use those words, obviously. You can also see my items as well. So anything that you're a reviewer on or you're a chair on, you'll be able to select that and it'll show you everything. I am on everything at the moment, so nothing will disappear. Let me select this again and we go in and take you through the system. So the system is designed here. You can see it. It has tabs along the top that kind of match the PDF progression as you go through it. And so it follows those general ones. You'll see a little arrow down here on the right as well, where you can step through each page, casually going through it, and it'll take you through the tabs. Or if you want to go straight to a section and look at it, you can click on the tabs up at the top as a reviewer or a chairperson. All of these fields, it has a little email options here as well to open emails that you can send out directly to the people. And I'll just step through each of these here. You'll see anything that was selected, not selected in my form is selected, and here mirrors the form exactly. One of the little things, nice little design things, is as your methods of data collection, it'll only show the reviewer and the chair the ones that you've selected. Doesn't, not everything will be shown to you if it's not relevant. So it'll only show standard education. And I think I did another one, surveys and questionnaires here, but the rest of them you won't see because I didn't select them within the application. And then documents. You can see documents in the system. There is an issue at the moment. Unfortunately, we can't get around it for, I have a developer license, so it works for me, but for user licenses, it does. The PDF viewer doesn't show PDFs. It'll show you Word, but it won't show you a PDF. We're working on that, and I'm sure Microsoft are working on that too as well. But in the meantime, if it is a PDF and you can't view it in the app, there is an open in browser, which will pop that document right open for you as well.
And is that downloadable now, a PDF for the reviewer?
For the reviewer, yeah. You should be able to save that. And then the review at the moment, there's no one assigned to this, so it's just going to show you a blank screen. I'll show you in the admin console. Very pared down, nice and easy for the administrator to get the process through what it needs to do. I'm going to assign 2 reviewers to this. I'm going to assign Sinead here. And I'm going to assign myself. So there's 2 reviewers assigned. Sinead will get an email asking her to review an item if she has time, log into the app, delivered with a link. I'll get that email too, as well. asking me to log into the app that there's a new review there if you want to take it on, if you have time. You can see here, status is requested, data signed, is the data signed there. And at this stage, actually, I should have already sent out my identifier assigned. So the system will pick out the last number of a HREC, the highest number, and add one to it and send that out to the applicant. That ID is critical for the applicant because that's how the system will use the update. So that's why you have to use the form until the new form until this point, until you get your HREC ID. Then you can use the HREC ID in the update form to update your application. So that's been sent out. And that should come in. There we go. There is my HREC ID. I'll grab that for the update later. So I know I've already assigned it to the reviewers, they'll probably do, but I'm going to do a screening email just to show you what that is, and we'll do the review or the update through that. So I've gone through the application as the administrator, I've noticed that something is off, something in the aims and objectives maybe. I'm going to please update your aims and objectives. Very vague. To change that, actually I'll send it from mine. It's just usually it would come from the administrator, so I'll send it anyway. So that screening email has gone out. I'll receive that as the applicant and the supervisor and the head of function. And then I will come into my update form. So this is the update form. Looks very similar to the initial form, but a lot of the fields here are not mandatory. Some fields are mandatory. You can see the amount of variables, and an update has to check, is there something there? Was there something there? Does that need to be deleted? Does that need to be overwritten? So there's a lot more to an update than just throwing information into a field. So some of the very few of the questions in this are mandatory, but there are some mandatory, and they'll let you know you can't progress until you answer them. So the first question is, again, your HREC ID. I'm just going to throw that in there. I'm not going to fill out any of these. The moment I've already filled them out, again, to save you watching me fumble typing with a crowd looking at me. So I'm just going to quickly move through. Actually, it was my aims and objectives I need to update. I'm just going to go put in, here's my update. Next. Says you, if only it was that easy. And again, your upload supporting docs. So if this was at the provisionally approved or the resubmit, you would need to update with your completed human research ethics outcome letter response. You need to complete that and upload it. Here, I don't need to do anything. I submitted everything I need to. So again, I'm going to hit that and I'm going to move straight into my update. If I can find it. Here we go.
Are you able to assign delegates as well? So if you're a head of function going away or anything, can you have a delegate, or is it anyone that you put in?
So who you put in, yeah.
So even if it's gone through the process and then somebody suddenly has to.
Yeah, actually, it will go to the new head of function that you list in that, yeah, if you need to. And that's why we've done it, because a head of function could change as well. So it needs to be updatable on that. So here we can see it's 18 seconds in already. It won't have completed, let me tell you. And it'll probably take a few seconds to show up here, because there are a lot of, as I say, there's a 500 maximum list and we're very close to it. The last few, it doesn't tell you how many you're at as you're developing. So it's always a little bit of a gamble when you're hitting save. It'll tell you, oh, you're gone over 500, you need to delete. So you're kind of like, each one, you're like a little prayer with that save, and off you go. So here it is, and we can see, and I'll zoom out a little bit just so that I can move quicker through it. There are a lot of variables, and each one of these then as well a lot of them hide branching. Sorry, a lot of them hide the branching as well. Calculations. If I find one of them, I've gone too small now for my own eyes. Focus. A lot of them have much larger branching. Of course, the ones I'm selecting now are only one. A lot of it's just setting variables, testing it, seeing what's there already, if it needs to be overwritten. A little bit bigger, but there are ones that are much bigger, and you can see that it's gone down so far. Gone through all of those variables, pulled in what's in the form, has been submitted previously, checked that if there's a field in it. If there's not one, and the new update form has something in it, to overwrite it. And if that was a yes, no, then it needs to, if someone answered no originally or yes originally and filled in all the form, but they've answered no now, then you need to blank out all the information. So there's a lot of back and forth on variables here, and it's gone through, and it's now with in the usual approved path. Sinead has already approved it, gone through, so it's at my stage again. If I come in here, I'll do an approval. Be kind to myself today. No rejection. I'll approve that, and we'll see it move through again. Right. I will have updated this application. So if I move back here, we'll see once it does go through. I probably need to do a little bit of a refresh on it. So it has completed. Take that as done. And again, it's creating those PDFs in the background of your application, sending you a copy of that just to make sure that you have the newest, most up-to-date one. Now that has completed, so I should be able to refresh, and that's gone to resubmitted. Yeah, so it has been resubmitted, so the administrator can see what's in, what's out. Select that, go in, design a methodology, and I should say, here's my update. Here's my update, even better. So now if I go into, if I go to my administrator here, I can see that Sinead has accepted, and I will take you through on my.
Is there a conflict of interest on the reviewer assigned, or is that not necessary? Like if you assign someone, there's a conflict of interest.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. That's something that will be checked. Then,
Yeah.
so that what just happens currently. So
Okay.
the administrator, so Sinead would have a certain awareness to, when an application comes into what maybe area it comes to, not to assign it to a reviewer that comes to that area. But then sometimes that we may miss that as well, and
Yeah.
the applicant would, the reviewer would say it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that has been assigned to me, I can see it in my list. Couldn't see it before. Now that I've been assigned, I'll see that. I come in as a reviewer. I'll do my full review, step through all the pages. I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to go straight into review. And status requested, assigned reviewer, accept or reject, date assigned, fulfillment date. So at the moment, I'm a reviewer, and I've reviewed the application. Maybe I don't have time. Maybe I just don't have time at the moment, so I reject it. To reject, you will need to fill in comments as to why you're rejecting. With accept, I'm just going to be nice to Ken.
So what that means is sometimes when Sinead would assign a member of the HREC to review an application, that member just may be inundated with their own actually work that they don't have time to do the review. So it's completely within their right to say, look, I don't have the time here. So that's what the reject means. Or accept means, oh yes, I can do the review.
So I begin my review as a reviewer. And just add in, I'm just going to be again very kind, click yes to most of these. as a reviewer, as I move screen to screen, it saves what I've done. So as long as I do it sideways or select one of these yellow buttons up here, what I've entered is going to be saved. I don't have to finish it there and then. It's saving in the background, so I can complete this at a later date. If something comes in and it needs my attention, I can get up away from the desk knowing that all I need to do is move to the next screen, and it will be saved.
Just another question there from online.
Yep.
Is the approval request for supervisor / head of department also sent via email? Just thinking of someone who may want to flag it for later.
Yes. I get a notification. And I do want to put in just a little bit of information here. A little bit of computer nerd stuff. I'll go with hello world. Skips. If you will be filling in as a reviewer, you'll add your comments in here. You can and should probably use the document and the last PDF of the application. You can open that on another screen and be reviewing that and adding your comments in here as well. You can actually open 2 instances of Power Apps as well, so you could have side-by-side Power Apps reviewing it as well. Recommendations. Looks good. I'm going to be very easy on myself today. And then register your decision. Again, if I move back off and I have a decision in this box, it won't save that. I need to submit a decision actively. So it won't save the decision until I click submit. So I'm just going to submit that here. Oh, I need to pick one. I'm going to be nice and fully approve this application. I think it was expertly filled out. And now if I come back into if I go back here, let's click back out and go to review. So as a reviewer as well, I can see what I've returned, what's done. I can view it. Can't change it at this stage. Everything is turned off update wise. So you can see what you have put in and your final answer as well as a reviewer. If I move back into the administrator app, I can see if I do a little refresh here. Oh, so Sinead, not so impressed. Sinead, needs work, does it? And I thought it was great personally, and I can see the date returned and everything. And now I can write my chairperson summary, so that will gather the comments from the reviewer automatically, throw it into a summary here for the chairperson, and I can save that. I can also, as an administrator, view the reviews as the person who made the review in the system. So that allows the administrator to go in, look what was put in, just in case she needs some clarification on any of the points as well. So that's available that way. And now I can, as an administrator, assign a chairperson. I am going to just block myself out here for a moment so that the system knows who's in there and who's out of there. Sign that. It's going to get rid of that, but this wouldn't usually happen. I'm just doing it for the sake of today's demonstration. So actually, I need to add and remove myself, which is all actually built into the system. So the administrator of the reviewers and all is in the system itself. So I'm going to take myself out, remove myself as a reviewer, and I'm going to add myself as a chair. And it's as simple as that. I'll do a refresh on this guy. And actually, one of the things that I forgot to point out, now, again, you'll see that I was a user here. I'm a user on this account at the moment. But when I go into an application, you'll see down in the bottom left-hand corner, your role. I think it's down there. Yeah, your role. It hasn't updated here yet because I... Hopefully. Maybe I've just removed myself in the wrong place. My role. No, let's SVC it.
Assign yourself. If
Did I?
Chairperson,
Oh, yes, because I wasn't there.
just added yourself to the list. You
Yes,
can go in
exactly.
actually sign yourself.
And that's why you're the administrator. Okay, so I just need to assign myself as chair, not as that. There we go. Assign. Doing exactly what it's meant to do, though. Assign that. It's requested. As well, I've skipped over it, but there is a send review. So when Sinead has assigned the reviewers, she can click on the send review email that'll notify the person that the review has begun with the timeframes and all that information. So where am I at? I've assigned myself back into very, very close to John. So in very quickly, I'm going to see, I need to back out, refresh. And if I select that here, and I will move straight through. Here's my role as chairperson. If I was a reviewer, it would be reviewer 1, reviewer 2, and you'd know your role within it. This is a chairperson. I'm going to very quickly show you. I'm going to accept this. I can see my summary there that Sinead has provided. I'm going to accept it, submit it, and begin my review. I can see what reviewer 1 and reviewer 2 have answered. I won't see if there's nothing there. There's a lot of buttons. You can see very quickly what they've answered by just pulling your mouse over it and seeing the information that was input. So again, I'm going to move very quickly through this, being very kind. Oh, actually, I will need to, sorry. I will need to put a yes or no on this. Just going to put in environments. Recommendations. Let's just speed it up. And register. And again, I can see even color coded what the response has been from the other chair. I think Sinead is wrong. I think it's fully proved. So now my reviews are done. And if there was feedback at this stage, if it was provisionally approved or resubmit, that would go back through the process using the update form. I can see here clearly that it is approved. I'm going to go into here as administrator. No, sorry, I'm in the wrong account now. Like, where is my admin? Okay, so to the administrator console, if you do a refresh, you can see that it is approved. And now I can create my fully approved student document. The system will do that automatically. That will create, it'll take about a minute, depending on what cycle SharePoint is in the background. It can take about a minute to populate that document, but it's automatically populated. And then Sinead can go, it'll be deposited into the documents here. It'll actually give Sinead a notification when it's done. That, and you can see it in the documents. It will be there. Sinead will then attach it to an email, send it to the applicant, and that is the process finished. Yes.
Sorry, can I just, it's a super system. I just ask a question. So there's 2 reviewers and a chairperson assigned to each application.
Yes.
And so the chairperson has the final decision, is it?
Yeah.
So the way in your example, 1 disagreed and 1 agreed, but ultimately the chairperson decides.
Chairperson
There's
decides.
Technically 3 reviewers, I suppose, incorporating the chairperson.
Yes.
That's fine. Yeah. And just in relation, if you're an applicant, you don't see the reviewers' names?
No.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, last comment, just in relation to being an applicant, obviously you've incorporated into this system the option of saving. So I think somebody else brought it up earlier, the application process can be quite lengthy. So I'm just wondering if there is an opportunity now to incorporate a function where you could save as you go.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
It's easy for me to ask because
Absolutely. Yeah, if it's available in Microsoft Forms,
yes.
we can turn it on. Absolutely, it's a no-brainer to do that.
Using forms, I think you can when you create a form, it does save it, I think.
It does save it?
Yeah. I think
Then
so.
absolutely we'll turn that on.
Brilliant.
And that's it. Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks very much. That definitely deserve a seat there after that. That wasn't easy now. Toggling between the different views of being an applicant, to being a reviewer, to being an administrator and a chairperson.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure there's enough people in here usually.
and we actually, that just shows there's 4 roles there, you know, like that, and that's what Niall was trying to, I suppose, some way simulate. And it just gives a sense, I think, like, to what's happening behind the scenes. Like, I mean, the front end that the user will see is the MS form, but behind the scenes, there's so much happening when you see what Niall was showing there in terms of Power Automate. What Sinead does as the administrator, then what the reviewer is doing, what the chairperson does. There's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes. And that's what's happening currently. And we're trying to kind of, I suppose, streamline that a bit more. And we're basically, I suppose, trying to help that kind of workflow, end-to-end workflow process. So thanks very much, Niall, for that. What did I say? It was the summer of 24 then that this started. And you just get a sense to why it took so long.
Summer 25.
Summer 25?
Yeah.
No, summer 20. Yeah. Yeah, was it?
25, yeah. 9 months.
Yes, yes.
9 months. Oh, 9 months. I'm delivering right on time.
Yeah. So, look, a phenomenal amount of work done behind the scenes with this, and look, massive credit to Sinead as well here. Like, there's so many meetings between Niall and Sinead that you can even see, like, Sinead is fully up to speed with what's happening in the REAMS system. But look, it was lovely, I suppose, from my point of view, to kind of overseeing it, to actually nearly seeing the kind of nearly the friendship that evolved through actually this project. And that's very nice that, like, in work, there was obviously a job being done, but it's nice that we were able to maybe enjoy the job and actually get friendship out of the job. And this definitely was something that stemmed from this when you're working together on something for that period of time. So massive thanks to Niall for this, and to Sinead, and for Irene to supporting this, because ultimately Irene could have said, no, we can't do that at the very start. But Irene was very supportive, saying, no, we could do this. And it's taken Niall, there was a massive amount of work put into this, you know, but we are leading the way in this. Like, there's no, I know we mentioned about TU Dublin doing this, but they have, and look, massive credit to Steve Meany for actually sharing what they were doing, but they didn't move over to the Power Automate and what Niall has generated here in terms of that REAMS and the dashboard. Like, it is actually massive credit, and we are leading the way here in MTU in terms of that. There has been training on it then. Just last week, we would have had training for applicants, and we have a video also. Niall has done up a video for that to kind of show how to actually work through the MS form. So there's a video up on our YouTube channel. There was training I think it was 3 weeks ago for the HREC reviewers, but ultimately we are live now. So going forward from now on, if somebody's submitting a minimal risk application form, it is going to be through the REAMS. And we do very much welcome feedback. It was actually great to get the engagement in the room and a few questions online there as well. We do welcome that feedback, and you can see, like, Niall is very much open to actually tweaking things, and that's all about streamlining the system. So we've tested this a lot. It actually started through, we actually had a couple of academic units that actually tested out the idea of an MS form as an ethics application form multiple years, a few years ago. And I can see some of those people are in the room here. So it did start, there has been a lot of testing to this. But nonetheless, I suppose when we do go live, you'd imagine that there will be some bugs. And look, please feedback into us for that. And look, we welcome feedback, positive and negative. Is that okay? Any other questions? Any questions online, Sinead?
No, just Kristen said many thanks, dear Niall, for very energetic and cheerful presentation.
No, absolutely. Phenomenal credit. So look, thanks very much, Niall. And you can just read it. Brilliant. I think we can leave it there. So thanks very much. It was great to actually get the engagement as Niall was demoing it. I think that actually worked really well. Thanks very much for that, everyone. Thanks for people online joining. Those here in the room, there's tea copies still remaining outside if you'd like to take advantage of them. Thanks very much, everyone. Thank you. Bye now.
Thanks, everyone.